Hi there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Let's talk about how to use the No Nonsense November 30-day free challenge to supersize and grow your business. Day one today is radical responsibility. What the heck does that mean? It means you and I take responsibility for everything in our life, right? Especially our businesses. And I'll talk about three key points here. We'll talk about blame, excuses, and responsibility equals freedom, because all of those are so powerful when it comes to growing and building our business, right? What does radical responsibility mean? It means you can't change what you don't own, what you don't take responsibility for, what you don't say, this is on me to figure out a way to move forward on. Then you're at the whim and the control of everything and everyone else in your environment, in your business, in your life. If the moment you stop blaming people, problems, or the past for what's going on right now, and you actually look at, okay, what's my result in this area right now, and say, well, I don't like that, I'm going to make that better, then things start to change, and they start to change for the better. Until you look at it or recognize it, it's like people that don't want to look at their finances, and they'll just let the bills pile up and pile up and pile up, and all the mail, they'll just leave it unopened. I can't tell you how many people do that. I think I have been guilty of that at certain times during my life, and I realized, okay, if I'm not looking at it, that's not me taking responsibility for it. As soon as you open it, you realize it's never as bad as you think it is. Or if it is, then you just know you have a bigger pile to dig out of. But until we take our power back, we're at the whim and the mercy of things outside of us. And that is never good for us personally or for building and growing and supersizing our business. I want to share 3 takeaways with respect to radical responsibility that I challenge you to think about today as part of the challenge. I've actually got a fillable PDF, a printable PDF, or a fillable online version available in the school group, the school community, for Supersize Your Business, which I'm thinking about changing to Supersize You. But if you come in and join, you can get the PDF that goes along with the challenge. I'm doing a write-up for every day. I've already done. I just don't have it printed out yet. And to show you today, I couldn't get it to print. Do you ever have those challenges? I take responsibility for being tech challenged many days of my life. But I've got that with some reflective questions and a space for you to keep track of and hold yourself accountable to the challenge for all 30 days. And then see at the end of 30 days what kind of a transformation you have personally made by learning these 30 no-nonsense November. One thing every day we're going to do. Today I'm just going to ask one question and ask you to answer this one question. But first, let's talk about what are the 3 key takeaways when it comes to, or the 3 key areas that we're going to talk about with respect to radical responsibility. Number 1, blame keeps us stuck. We can pretend it doesn't all we want, but we always know deep inside, because we get that little wrenching feeling in our gut that says, yeah, you're blaming something outside of you. And if it's something outside of you that you have no control over, it's even worse, I think, because there's always a solution to every problem, every challenge, everything that comes up in our life. And usually there are multiple solutions, but as long as we are blaming or making excuses, we are stuck. We're not going to move. We're not going to overcome that, because our brain and our subconscious are telling us, oh, it's just the way it is. There's nothing you can do about it. You're stuck. So blame keeps you stuck. Ownership moves you forward. So what are you going to do when you catch yourself complaining about gas prices or the economy or politics or religion? Or in my case, it usually was dairy prices was the talk of all the salesmen, because I was in a business that used, butter, heavy cream, milk, eggs, all the things that fell under that category. But gas prices were a biggie too. Every supplier would add a gas bump onto invoices every time gas prices fluctuated. They only ever added it up. They never added it down. Now I could feel bad, complain, bitch and moan and complain about it, or I could just pay it and move forward and say, okay, well, that's just an interesting way to make more money, right? Number 2. So number 1, blame keeps you stuck. Ownership moves you forward. Number 2, every excuse hides an opportunity to grow. If I'm making an excuse about anything in my business, then that is a clear sign that that's the next area for me to grow in my business. if I'm making an excuse for my salespeople or my customer service or my lack of a product offer in a certain category, whatever I catch myself, and this is really actually kind of fun to do, you catch yourself and pay attention to and actually listen to the things that come out of your own mouth, you'll realize you already know everything you need to do to grow and build and supersize your business. A lot of times you're just not taking ownership, making excuses, blaming other things, people, places, or things outside of yourself. You know, it's like blaming the weather because it's raining outside. Just change your clothes. I can't remember who said that. Just yesterday I heard that as part of Halloween costumes. But it's an opportunity, and it's actually showing you probably the next area you need to grow. If you catch yourself making excuses and the same excuse over and over and over again, that is your next area to grow in. Say you're late for work all the time. You can keep making excuses. Oh, it's the kids, the car wouldn't start, there was traffic. But at some point, you look at all those excuses and you say, okay, how can I grow and make sure that this isn't a problem for me? Because if I don't show up to work on time, I might lose my job. If I don't show up to work on time, I might miss an important meeting with a key potential customer or supplier or whatever it might be, or a key person that could come into my business and change everything for us. And then number 3, responsibility equals freedom. I learned this a long time ago. When I and when you and when any of us take responsibility for everything that we can control. Now, we don't take responsibility for things we can't control. We don't take responsibility for things outside of ourselves. Do you take responsibility for the weather? This is my favorite one, because when you ask yourself that question, it's so ludicrous that you just start laughing. And when you start laughing, that gives you a breakthrough to change. But let's use our previous example of every excuse under the sun for being late to work. Number 1, if you're the leader of your organization and you're late all the time, guess what's going to happen? You are going to have a wave of tardiness roll through your organization. And you're going to get mad about it, probably. But then you're going to look in the mirror and you're going to say, oh, I started that wave. Because the speed of the pack is always determined by the speed of the leader. And not what you say, it's what you do and how you show up, and what you demonstrate is what people actually will do. They'll say they'll be on time, but if you're late, they're going to be late. I guarantee it. So for this one, responsibility equals freedom. What's one thing you could do to say, oh, I can do this thing and this will make sure that I'm always on time? I like to do a couple of things that I still do. Lay my clothes out the night before. I don't pay attention to the weather anymore because I don't drive, but if I did, I used to pay attention to the weather. I would always have a backup plan, right? We always had a spare car in the garage, so if one wouldn't start, I could hop in the other, but that was so rare that it was kind of silly. But we always had an extra vehicle. Get up earlier so that no matter what traffic or weather is doing, you're going to be to work on time. I always planned to be to work hours before anybody else started when I worked in corporate America. Number 1, it was my secret way of getting more done than anybody else got done. I would get more done on a Monday morning to 3 hours before anybody else came to work than everybody else got done in the entire week. Talk about making it possible for you to stand out and excel and do great in your career or in your business. Show up early, right? You never have to worry about being late. All right, so what is our question? What is our reflective question for today? Because I think throughout this challenge, I'm going to ask at least and probably just one reflective question. And then I'm going to ask you to like and comment on 3 other people's comments about an answer to the question. But the question today is, what result have I been waiting on that I could create by taking charge now, right now? What I'm waiting on, more customers. Well, if I weren't just waiting, what could I take some action that would positively impact that? Absolutely positively. It might be as simple as just send out an email to your email list. It might be as simple as make a video to let people know that you've got a new school platform, a new community that you're forming, where you would love for them to join free as a founding member. And at some point it's going to be a paid group, but right now its founding members are free, because we're going to form together with other founders to make sure that we create the environment that we want, that we wish we would have had when we started. That's my whole purpose of creating this particular school community. But we're going to answer that question. We're going to comment on 3 other people's, and we're going to like them. And just, even if we just say done or, hey, good job, let's encourage one another for actually doing the action step, which our action step is just answering a question or saying done, right? It doesn't have to be super complicated. I want you to just at least think about this today. I will tell you, there's tremendous power in writing things down. I don't think that's one of my no-nonsense Novembers, but my dad taught my sisters and I when we were little girls to write down our goals, and I cannot tell you what a powerful lesson that's been and how much more successful I think I am because of that than I would have been had I not gotten that wisdom from him. All right, so what are you doing today? What result am I wanting and waiting for and letting it and making excuses or not making it my responsibility because, we got sales to do that. We've got marketing to do that. But how could I help encourage them by taking some sort of action myself and taking responsibility for overseeing that maybe for a while? And like I said, every excuse, every blame that we catch ourselves doing, we need to examine that and say, why didn't that just come out of my mouth? Why am I thinking that? If it doesn't come out of your mouth, sometimes we should, buffer, filter ourselves. All right, that's it. If I can help you in any way with this, please hit me up and ask. I want to make this the best no-nonsense November challenge we've ever had. That's the workbook to join the school community, etc. Otherwise, you just have to listen to me and write down the question yourself. All right, have an amazing day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow for day 2 of our no-nonsense November. I'm not going to tell you what the topic is. It's a surprise. All right, have a great day.